I don't really know what to discuss. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, Joe Rogan made it look easy. I had a list of topics, but I can't really remember what they were now. So, well, maybe if I just hit this vape a little bit, maybe some will come to me. Probably look a lot cooler on a video. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I got a JUUL recently. Just got a new vape and oh man, that smells strong. But no, I got a JUUL, and so I went into this vape store, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get some JUUL pods. And the guy who works there, I actually used to go to school with him. I used to take guitar classes with him. Long time ago. And all I ever did in guitar class was play Arctic Monkeys songs. Bow now now now. It takes like 3 freaking notes. It's very easy. But the guy who I went into the vape store to pick up some JUUL pods for because, super small town, I couldn't find anywhere to go to get them. And so I went in there and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get some JUUL pods. And he's like, oh, we don't carry those. I was like, well, okay, whatever. And he's like, we got blanks. And I was like, the heck's a blank? And I guess it's like a refillable JUUL pod. And I was like, oh, man, save some money. But I'll tell you what, man, they're just not the same. They must be putting something in these JUUL pods because they just taste way different. Like, they feel way better when you use them, too. I don't know, man. It can't just be nicotine. There's got to be something else in there. Because you know what it is? It feels a lot more like actually smoking. And I'm aware entirely that I'm coming off as a little bit of a tool by even talking about JUULs in the first place. And besides, if they don't release another new model soon, I can't imagine they're going to be, like, in style for that much more longer. I mean, I actually had a friend of mine back when I was working a couple years ago, and he's like, Andrew, you got to get a JUUL. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, no. Where's the cloud, man? There's no cloud. And I was like, nah, man, get that away from me. And to be fair, everyone in high school was using them at the time, and I was already in college by then. But I mean, they've got to do something else to keep up, right? I mean, they've had the same model for years, as far as I know. I don't know. Are they working on something else? I mean, they must be at this point. I mean, what are they, like a $13 billion company or something? Last time I checked. I'm gonna look at how much JUUL is worth. I can't remember. It looks cool though. I gotta say, their logo looks pretty cool. It's the same forward and backwards. Props. 16 billion. Damn. That actually is a lot. It is more like a cigarette. The tagline is, why is JUUL worth 16 billion? It's more like a cigarette than you think. That's true. I don't know. I never really smoked that much though. I mean, I only did it because it was cool. And to be fair, it did make me look pretty cool, but I mean, when my mucus starts turning yellow like that, I'm like, nah, this noise has got to stop. I don't think so. I'm not gonna go try making out with this girl. She's like, hey, Andrew, why does your mouth smell like actual butthole? So I went in to get those blanks, right? I totally forgot what I was talking about. So I went in to get those blanks from the JUUL store, and they really were nothing like it's like Nick Salt or something. So, like, I guess it has the same amount of nicotine, like, in theory, as a JUUL would. But like I said, it's just not the same. I don't know what the deal is. But, I ran out of blanks. I guess you can only use them, like, a couple of times before they end up totally fucking up. But I used them a couple times. I don't know. I just have a ton of Nick Salt hanging around now. And, like, I can't find anywhere around me that sells blanks. And they weren't even that good in the first place. They tasted better. Well, they didn't even taste better. They tasted different. And to be fair, I really only used, like, one flavor for my JUUL. I've been talking about JUULs too much, man. I mean, I guess we all gotta start somewhere. Thing is, though, when I go home now, and like all of a sudden I'm gone for like 5 or 10 minutes and then just reappear in way less of a bad mood, like my parents just look at me like, what you been up to, son? I'm like, been hitting that freaking vape, Mom, get off my face. I say that to her in my mind. Nah, my mom is pretty hardcore. Like, I love her and everything, but she do be hardcore. She sort of takes after her mom in that way, though. Her mom, like, my mom's mom was pretty hardcore. She never let me have Pokemon cards until I just sort of brought some home one day. When my friend showed me his big-ass binder full of Pokemon cards, I was like, dude, your parents just, like, buy you these for Christmas, and if you've been good or something? I was like, what is this? I'm the only one around not getting Pokemon cards, like some sort of loser, okay? That's what set me back socially. Freaking, that's why I'm like a social retard right now. It's because I never had Pokemon cards when I was younger. I was always out of the loop. I remember one time I was with my friend, and we went to Blockbuster. So you already know what was up back then. You already knew what the deal was. It was smelling like old movie theater popcorn and feet up in that store. But we went in and they must have sold Pokemon cards. I can't remember it, but I mean I remember going to the Blockbuster and my friend's grandma brought both of us a pack of Pokemon cards, and my parents only ever got them for me for like Christmas, rarely for Christmas, after I caused a scene and just started collecting them anyway. And then she just bought them for us randomly. I was like, what is this noise, man? No one told me you could just... Some people just bought them for their kids. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta like do your own thing. Which really everyone in my family's been pretty good about, just sort of doing their own thing, I'll be honest with you. I bought a candle to make my room smell better, and I think I used it 4 times, and I've had it in here for months. I'm about to light that thing up right now, man. Freak. I had a lighter in here at some point. Well, maybe I'm not going to light it up. Maybe it'll go another 6 months without getting lit. What self-defeating title, I'm only saying this because I'm looking down at all these pieces of candy I have below me. I go to Planet Fitness, and it really is self-defeating because Planet Fitness has these 2 big-ass buckets of candy before you leave. And you go get a fucking Tootsie Roll or something before you leave, and I just wait our workout, and then when I see that there's no one at the front desk, I go and I grab a big-ass handful from each bucket and put them in my backpack. And then, when I leave, I get another big-ass handful. I end up eating almost all of them, and I mean, I feel like I'm just... If anything, I'm breaking even. I can't believe I'm actually getting any progress, but... I don't know. The place I work at, they give me a free membership, right? They give... Not to Planet Fitness, even. They give me a free membership to 24-Hour Fitness. But 24-Hour Fitness is so freaking bougie. Like, I can't even... I walk in there, and it's just all these dudes that, like... They're really big, but they look like... They look aggressively big is what they are. They look like unnecessarily swole. Like, no human being could ever use that much strength for any task except for, like, murdering living things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just... At a certain point, I'm not sure why you would want to get bigger. And you know what? I heard it was, like, a mindset, like, you can never get too big. And, that's, like, anti-anorexia, I guess. But, I mean, like I was saying, it was just a little bit too, like, I don't know. And the cushions weren't nearly as soft in 24-Hour Fitness. Planet Fitness does a lot wrong. They have free pizza days, and they give you a shit ton of... Well, they don't... You're only supposed to take 1 piece of candy, but I'm a little bit of a madman, so I sort of do what I want. Since I sort of hate the place I work at, they pay for my gym membership, and I don't tell them that I never go. And there's just a certain amount of satisfaction I get out of knowing that they're paying for something that I never use. I'm like, yeah, screw the man. The owner of my place is a woman, but I'm a little bit sexist, so screw the man. Besides, Planet Fitness do be having them comfy machines. You sit down on them, it's like, oh yeah, that's the good freaking cushion. Although one thing I will say is they don't have those machines where you, like, work out your shoulders. So my arms are starting to look pretty swole, but my shoulders, like, look really skinny, so I look very disproportionate. At least I can lift things. That's not true. I can't even lift things. I can't even lift things, man. Although, you know what? Before I went to the gym, I used to work at a restaurant where you were just, like, unloading trucks and stuff. And that's when I first started getting really strong. All of a sudden I started lifting stuff and I'm like, dang, like, this is getting easier and easier. Then I started going to the gym and I was like, well, this is getting even easier now. But like, I go to the gym on and off. I've been going pretty steady for a little bit now. I'll tell you what though, that is some ass. That is just the worst. Man, I totally understand why people don't want to do it. But the thing is, like, once I get there, and I've already got my clothes on, and I've already driven there. It's like, well, like, what, 10 minutes away from me? And I'm like, well, since I'm here, I might as well finish. I think that's what makes me work out when I go to the gym. If I try working at home, I can do it every once in a while, but like I just give up so I give up so much sooner. Wow, I really just want to go watch TV instead. I really just want to not even watch TV because who watches TV anymore really, except for old people. You know what? Cable TV is like Fox News and CNN, where it's like I feel like their average user is just getting older and older, and eventually they're just gonna be like, "Oh, hey, no one's using our product anymore." I'm gonna miss all three of them when they're gone, but I think that's just nostalgia talking. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, just sort of talking really helps. Just sort of open your mind. You know, sometimes things get a little quiet, but you just sort of like naturally start going and going. It is pretty relaxing, I gotta say. You know, you can only watch so many edgy YouTubers back-to-back videos till you end up getting a little bored. You know, one thing I do need to work on is my dental hygiene. I gotta say, I started. I was on Amazon because I was buying some cooking supplies, and I got some of those like weird looking floss sticks. I don't really know how to describe them. They got little handles on them, little two prongs with a string between them. Sort of cram them, but I guess cram's not the right word. It's a lot less. It's a lot less aggressive than that. We sort of stick them between each of your teeth. I mean, they're pretty nice. I don't know. I guess they reach the back teeth a little bit better than like normal floss. The reason I always hated flossing was because I hate putting my fingers in my mouth. It just feels so barbaric, you know. So like they're a little bit nice for that. They feel more like dental tools, and I feel way more high class when I use them. And they're cheap as shit too. Like I got like 2 packs of. Oh, I got them right here. Ugh. I mean, I got 2 packs of 75 for like $4. Oh, speaking of which, I found my blanks under those packs of floss, so I got one more. Not that I'm gonna use them. Still got a crap ton of Nick salt I don't know what to do with. But I've been brushing my teeth more too. I used to just be a lazy sack of crap, and nothing's changed since then, except that I do brush my teeth now. I used to just go to bed and not brush my teeth, and then I found out that my neighbor spent like 50 grand on teeth repairs. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that, so I guess I'll start brushing my teeth and using fancy people floss. That's another thing about Planet Fitness that I think is bringing me down. Those Tootsie Rolls, man, they get stuck in your teeth. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to have like 100 cavities, then the dentist is going to be like, man, why are your teeth so bad? I'm like, well, I've been going to the gym more. It's like, oh, that makes sense, yeah. You probably can't see it, but I just blew some mad O's. One thing I never understood is why the British teeth were so bad. And you know what? I'll be darned if a lot of them aren't. I don't want to sit here and generalize anything. Because I've been to Texas, okay? I've been to Louisiana. I've seen Americans with bad teeth. But I feel like that's regional, though, you know? I don't know. I'm from Virginia. I don't see a lot of people with bad teeth in Virginia. Unless you go to them backwards. And where you see Confederate flags and hubcaps everywhere. That is one thing I do sort of miss about Virginia, though. Not the Confederate flags. I'm not a racist. It's a mix between, like, really urban, liberal people and really, really, like, rural people. Totally out of touch with how everything else in the world is. And I don't know, there's something charming about that, I think, you know? Hey, did you hear about that new thing that happened? And they're like, I haven't heard about anything new past 1985, so that's where we're at now. And I remember there was this one road I passed by where some guy, and this was in Tennessee or Kentucky, I think, but you know, that whole region is pretty homogenous. I was driving by, and there's this giant statue of a Klan member holding a Confederate flag. I don't want to say it's funny, but the Klan member looked like he was made by like a pottery class in elementary school, and his face looked so messed up. I'm very empathetic as a person, right? And so I'm like, if I were in the KKK, that is not how I would choose to be represented in this entirely messed up freaking claymation looking guy. The freaking Confederate flag. And that's stupid too. I don't know. I get his heritage to a certain degree, but I mean, you know what I did? Like I said earlier, empathy. I was like, I don't know, man. If people tried to keep me and my race enslaved, I'd be pretty freaking pissed about it. Like, I wouldn't be nearly as defensive as I would be if it was like on the other foot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess the more I grow up, the more I understand that people have different opinions than I do, and the more I try and put myself in their shoes and be like, whoa, this opinion I had my whole life is freaking jacked up, man. Oh my gosh. And you know, like, I remember growing up and just seeing a lot of Confederate flags and like not even thinking twice about it. But I think the time where it was most evident to me was a time when I was in high school, and this kid I knew, I hung out with him a couple times. Little son of a snitch, I'll tell you that too. He went up to this group of Hispanics, and you know, this was like a down south bred white kid, right? And he went to these Hispanics, and he just kept calling them a spick, and I'm like, I heard this story. I met him, and then my friend told me, like, yeah, dude, you didn't hear this? Check out this video. This kid kept calling these Hispanic people spicks, and this Hispanic guy just decked him in the face, and this kid was in the 9th grade, so he's pretty much a middle schooler still. And I guess this 10th or 11th grade kid just decked him in the face, and then all his bumpkin-ass friends started defending him and beating up the not Mexicans. Actually, we didn't have many Mexicans in Virginia. At least not as much as I've seen in other places. All these white people started beating on these Hispanic people. And all the group of Hispanic people started beating on the white people, and they got bigger and bigger. And I think there was like 10 or 15 people on each side, so there's a little mini race war in my high school. And there's videos of it somewhere. I'll see if I can find them later. Quality stuff. Okay. That was around the time when I was realizing that symbols had a lot of power too. Like, I always inherently knew it to a certain degree, but that's when I first saw it in action a little bit. Oh, crap, what time is it, man? Oh my gosh, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Oh, could be worse. I don't know how, but it could be worse. Cause you know, I used to work in a much less people involved environment, and now I talk to people directly. And I'll be darned if that isn't 100 times worse. For one, it makes me very pessimistic on the voting population, based on people I see. I work at a place where we give a discount to police officers. I mean, one time I have nothing against the police. Maybe it's because I'm a straight white male. But I remember one time, this police officer came up, and I was like, you know, your total's gonna be about like $16.50. And he just turns away, he goes, ugh, turns his head away, pulls his jacket back, shows me his badge. I was like, whoa, dude, you are just so badass, man. You got that freaking badge, get that 50% off, man. Damn, I wish I could be you. And it's not even like I don't see a ton of nice people. I mean, most people are plenty fine, and I guess those are the people that you don't give a second thought, because, you know, I guess I grew up in a pretty religious environment, so you just sort of expect everyone to have a certain degree of niceness. Although, one thing I will say is that in such a religious environment, passive aggressiveness really flourishes. You know, you're raised to be nice. You don't want to be mean, but sometimes you still get those emotions, and they just come out in a very passive aggressive way. So I can be passive aggressive like nobody's business, you know. I got that skill down pat, okay. I'll make sure I get a video of me doing that sick-ass trick you probably couldn't see. One of them sick-ass O's. That's one thing, too. I used to go to parties, and I didn't even like them, but everyone else was going, so I was like, well, guess I'm going to parties now. Guess that's my shtick. But I used to, like, not know what to do, especially when I got, like when the night started getting really, really on, and you get a little out of it, and you're just sitting there and you don't know what to do, and I would just smoke cigarettes or just hit my vape constantly so I had something to do with my hands. And that would end up in me getting a massive headache. But I didn't want to stop because then I wouldn't know what to do with my hands, and it was summer, so it's not like you can put your hands in your jacket, right? Eventually I just passed out from freaking nicotine overdoses. You know, live and learn. Now I just don't go to parties with people I don't know, which makes a lot more sense. I will say the most fun parties I ever went to was where I knew everyone. Maybe that's just a personality type, or maybe that's true for everyone, you know? You're just more comfortable with people you're around. What you're hearing now is a first-hand account of the Tootsie Rolls that I got from Planet Fitness yesterday. That's the good stuff. Oh, that's that good negating weight. Oh, man. I don't even know what's in a Tootsie Roll either. Like, I think it's just compressed sugar. There must be The thing about the mini Tootsie Rolls is they're so small you can't possibly fit nutrition labels on them. Unless they're on the wrapper, they might be. Oh, hey, oh my gosh. They do have nutrition labels on the little white part of the Twisty Tie wrappers. I never noticed. Sugar, corn syrup, and palm oil. Condensed skim milk, so they're healthy. I'm actually growing my bones. My human bones, not my penis bones. Tootsie Rolls do not make me horny. Cocoa. Guess that makes sense. It concerns me the first ingredient is sugar, though. Like, it must just be a small block of sugar that you just grind up on your teeth. I mean, it's a good thing I invested in those freaking fancy people dental floss. I think my air conditioning totally messes with the audio. I'm not totally sure. I'm sure that'll work itself out. Soy lecithin. Don't tell me I pronounced that wrong. I already know. Artificial and natural flavors. That's one thing I don't like too. I feel like that's a cop-out. The fact that it's plural for one tells me that there's multiple. And I don't know how many. Tootsie Rolls I sort of understand. Because Tootsie Rolls definitely has a space limitation. Frankly, I'm shocked they put them on the Tootsie Roll at all. I'll be darned, they even have a little address and a phone number to call. Tootsie Rolls I understand because you have limited space. You can't be putting like benzenate hydrate on there and 50 other freaking chemicals. But, you know, for boxes where it says like big boxes, where it says natural and artificial flavors, like, I feel like I should know those. I feel like that's important. It's not like the FDA is a stupid company. Or maybe they are and I just don't know it. I mean, shoot, what was that book on the meat industry? It was just like, people's fingers just got chopped up. Book on meat industry. Early U.S. Man, this is something I haven't thought about since middle school history, I don't think. Upton Sinclair. The Jungle, that was it, yeah. Upton Sinclair wrote The Jungle to expose the appalling working conditions in the meatpacking industry. When was that wrote? What, am I, an idiot? I am. Let me save you the trouble of answering that. What year was The Jungle Book? The Jungle Book. The Jungle Wrote. I wish I could multitask and type and talk at the same time. But I can't. My mom could. I seen my mom do 30 things at one time. Dang it, I typed in The Jungle Book. That's what I get for trying to talk and type at the same time. I don't even know what to look up. I feel like The Jungle Book would be most intuitive, but all I get is that terrible movie that came out on Netflix a couple weeks ago. I'm looking at the reviews. It looks like it got pretty good reviews, but I heard it was just awful. Then again, I did hear that from my sister, and my sister is very, very passionate about things that are very, very niche. So, The Jungle, Upton Sinclair. Let's get that good Wikipedia going on. Real quick. 1904. That makes much more sense. He only died in 1968. That's one thing that is crazy, though. I saw this post on Reddit the other day. Some guy found a penny from 1919 or 1914, I think. And somebody posted, the person who held that penny when it was first minted was closer to Abraham Lincoln than they were to us. And that's really what made me think, like, dang, man, America is young. Oh my gosh. Because, I mean, even World War II sort of feels like a different world. It doesn't feel like they are us. They had such different values and views. I mean, especially on foreign policy and stuff, you know. I just can't imagine anyone before. Definitely World War II, I guess. Excuse me. There's a dictator in the Middle East? Oh my god, round up the freaking troops, man. Look, I'm not here to get political. It's just happened to be that's what I'm doing. Gnaw on one of these Tootsie Rolls, man. Calm my freaking nerves. You know what I never understood? NCIS. Not the government agency. I understand why that exists. It seems very necessary. But the TV show is like, it's not bad. But I mean, what was it, like the #1 show for like a long-ass time, too. I remember my parents used to always watch it. All the time. And I watched it with them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best show on the face of the earth. But that was before I even watched any other shows, so I really didn't have a metric for assessing that myself, I don't think. I think I like, what, 4 spin-offs? Yeah, NCIS Los Angeles and New Orleans. NCIS top chart time. Let me be honest with you. Ow, freak, that hurt my teeth. Oh my god. Well, that's not going to help my case or what I was about to say, but what I was about to say was, I feel like dentistry is getting so advanced. Every time I go to the dentist, they have 50 new things, and I'm always blown away by them. And I guess they're always getting, like, updated. I feel like dentistry is going to get real hardcore in the next couple decades. And we're going to look back and be like, oh my gosh, can you believe when we had to get our dentistry done like that, instead of just using this badass machine that does it all for us painlessly? I'm going to miss laughing gas, though, that's for sure. That's the one thing the evolution of dentistry is going to be a detriment for me. NCIS top chart time. The long-running crime procedural drama has been renewed for the 2018-2019 season, 15th season. Remains CBS's #1 show. That's #1 drama series. Okay, that's different. Oh no, next 2018-2019 is going to be, they've got to be running out of ideas. I mean, what, they have like 1 remaining character from the original thing? Unless you include Gibbs, I guess. Gibbs and that Italian guy who tries to act like a freaking juggalo. I always thought he was so cool, but I mean, if you had a whole room of writers writing for me, I'm sure I could pretend to be pretty cool myself. Maybe I still couldn't. Maybe even that wouldn't help me. And what happened to Blacklist, too? That show with James Spader, the Stargate guy? They did a spin-off called Blacklist Redemption. I never even heard of that. Cancelled after just 1 season. Well, that explains that. Subscribe for free updates. That is not even part of the information that I want. Man, all these are CBS shows. How many shows does CBS put out a year? Okay, well, that's not as interesting as I thought it'd be. You know what I never understood? Is wanting to be able to meet your heroes. If I met one of the people that I watch normally, John Mulaney, I really like his stand-up and his role in Big Mouth on Netflix. Yeah, hilarious. But if I ever met him, it'd be so freaking awkward. It'd be like, wow, I don't even know what to say. Like, what would you... That's what I don't get, the appeal of meeting people that you admire. Like, they wouldn't even be my friends. Like, I don't know. I've always had a pretty small group of friends anyway. You know, I've only ever hung out with max. I've had like 5 really good friends at a time. I don't know, you know. You wouldn't be able to hang out with them or talk to them like you would talk to a normal friend, right? You just sort of be like, hey, I'm Andrew. I'm a big fan. I've always wanted to meet you. I really like your stand-up. That's not even a joke. That's actually how I would be, so I just don't understand why you would want to do you would want to like do that or anything. Like, if I ever met Joji in real life, he's probably the chillest of the people that I actually admire and look up to. He's probably like the coolest person I could probably choose to do that. I'd still be like, yeah, and then I'd pretend to be Pink Guy, and he'd be really weirded out by that and cringe, and he'd just be like, I gotta go be somewhere else. And I'd be like, you know what? I don't even blame you, dude. Like, I don't know how I'd react to that. Get that good Nick buzz going on. Get that good Nick buzz going through my veins. I know it makes me look like a tool, so I try not to vape in public. And, you know, I think that's sort of what JUULs help with, too. You know, I can go to a public event. I can go eat out and use that and be pretty discreet about it. I can't go to a public event and bring my freaking Cloud Beastmaster 2000 additional drip tip for maximum cloud performance. Hey, what's up, guys? Congratulations on your wedding. Although I will say, I bet the clouds would be really good for wedding photos. I bet you could get some really good backdrop effect on that. Not that I'm even a video guy. The only reason I know anything about video is because my brother and sister. My main bro, he edits videos for an actual job. Which, you know, props. That can't be easy. And my sister does it as a really, really passionate pastime. Frankly, I don't know why she didn't go to college for that. But then again, maybe it's none of my business, and maybe I shouldn't be talking about my family's life decisions. Almost $1,000, and I really wish it would just work when I wanted it to work. I don't think that's asking for too much. Then again, all those hentai bondage video games probably came with a lot of viruses, so. And boy, is that a slippery slope. You start out just buying one hentai bondage video game, then next thing you know, you got 12 of them. And you don't even question it, you're just like, I know I'm at this website I've never heard of. It's got that little red lock icon in the top left-hand corner, so you know it's not safe. Google's even telling you. And when Google starts telling you, like, hey, you're going a little bit too far, man, you might want to cool it, that's when you should cool it, but, you're in the zone, no time to stop. Gotta get those freaking hentai bondage games. Can't go to Hentai Haven anymore, so, gotta make do. Tell me if this is weird. I work usually 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but I usually wash my uniform like once a week. I have 2 uniforms, let me clarify that, so I feel like it's not as bad as all that. But the thing is, and if I was smart I would do this differently, but I'm not, so I don't. But I wear one uniform, then the next day I wear the other one, then the next day I wear the first uniform, and, tick-tock and all that. They just get disgusting by the end of the week, and then I have to spray them with, I don't even have cologne, because why is cologne so expensive? Like, I can just get bug pheromones for free. Why would I pay for your cologne? I just spray it with deodorant, and I walk in smelling like a freaking locker room from a YMCA, and people are like, Andrew, you smell great and terrible at the same time. What's going on with that? And I'm like, clearly I haven't washed my clothes. It's not because I don't have access to a washer. It's because I watch hentai bondage video games in my free time and try and fix my computer after I finished with them. So here's my prediction for the next 2 decades. I predict that Apple will fail, and here's my reasoning for that, is because I don't like them. It's nothing technical. It's nothing scientific. I've done no research on the matter. I just sort of don't like them. And that's about as far as that goes. I like Samsung. And this is going to make me sound like a little bit of a fanboy, but I like Samsung because they're South Korean. And I really respect South Koreans. I read somewhere that in the 1980s, South Korea was one of the biggest receivers of international aid. And in 2016 and 17, they were one of the biggest givers of international aid. So I just respect the crap out of them for that. That can't be easy. And I sort of think that's why governments and countries that rebuild themselves in a more recent era of time thrive a little bit more. Russia's an exception, although you could say Russia's thriving in their own Russian way, I guess. Like Japan was rebuilt post-World War II, and Germany, and they're both doing fantastically. Vietnam was totally rebuilt, and Vietnam, from what I understand, is a very nice place. I can't say that I know too much about it, but I mean, after all they've been through to still come out, we got a McDonald's in Hanoi, okay? Come visit our McDonald's in Hanoi. It can't be too bad. Any country that's got a McDonald's, they've got to be doing all right. Next prediction. Apple fails, McDonald's somehow still succeeds. I don't know why. Bill Burr did a really good sketch on him a couple years ago. He said, McDonald's was doing great, they were doing everything, and then they let obese people tell them that it was their fault they were obese. And he said, well, yeah, it's a company. If you say you want to buy something, they'll sell it to you. What do you expect from them? That's so right, too. Like, I don't see why McDonald's should get any blame for that. Then again, if they were misleading the people, I guess that sort of makes sense. Look, I, like every other middle schooler in America, have seen the documentary Super Size Me. So I totally understand that area of it. Now that I feel like we all sort of know what the deal is, okay, cool, pink slime, we get it. I mean, you've got to have a certain amount of self-acknowledgement for the fact that you're going into this. You're making yourself fat. I don't think you should blame a company for that. They're going to sell you what you want to buy. Oh, man, I'm getting that sloven thing I get whenever I eat too many Tootsie Rolls. Oh, I'm about to take a Mondo Duke pretty soon, I'll tell you that much. I'll take that out. I don't like that Mondo Duke. Some guy I used to, back in my day when I was a young, strapping little dude, I went to church camp. This guy I went with always said Mondo Duke whenever he had to go to the bathroom. I was like, it's disgusting, but it's sort of cool, I think. I'm not totally sure. Although he does have a hot-ass girlfriend now, so maybe I should start saying it. Church camp, man. I miss church camp. I feel like church camp gets a bad rap in modern day. But my church camps were lit as heck. I smoked my first cigarette there. I hit my first vape there. I remember one time, me and the lads were just chilling in our room. So we had our church. Let me put up some backstory. We had our church camp in a hotel, a dope ass hotel too. I'll say that. There was like they usually split guys and girls into different floors, so no one could touch each other's private places. We were the only guys in the hall of girls, and the second the thing is they also put me with all my friends. Someone must have had some sort of say in that. Like, Andrew's a little uncomfortable. He's got like 5 friends max. Okay, so let's put him with his gang, so he isn't awkward as shit. Makes sense. And they put us in. I guess there was some sort of accounting error. I don't know what you would call it. Definitely not accounting error, but you know what I mean. Logistics error. How's that? And we walked in, and it's just all these super attractive girls in our hallway. And I look at my boys, and I'm like, boys, we in it this week. Like, this is going to be the best week of our lives, okay? This is going to be dope. And I'll tell you what, it was, okay? Me and the boys, and whenever our room leader was out, which is almost all the time, just had girls over. We didn't even do anything. It's not even like we made out because we're Christians. But, like, we just sort of hung out, had a good time. Someone started a fight club, I think. I don't know. You only got to watch Fight Club once to think that you're, Brad Pitt, Not Brad Pitt. No one knows the name of the other guy in that movie. The guy who looks like every white person you've ever seen combined into one. It better not tell me it's Brad Pitt. Dang it, it is telling me that. Sorry, I just watched Fight Club for the first time the other day. I know I'm like 20 years behind the curve on that. Oh my gosh, I'm actually exactly 20 years behind the curve on that. What do you know? Well, this was a waste of my time. Freaking computers, man. They're so complicated. The only thing I know about computers is that I would have to learn about them for years to even partially understand them. I remember I took a C++ programming class. They started you off bare bones and tried to work your way up, and they were teaching us binary, and I'm like, this is already over my head. I only sort of understand binary code. I understand it enough to know that I get the general idea of how it works. Man, it's crazy. And I guess, that's one thing that blew my mind when I first found out that the 10-digit code we have for counting isn't the way it could always be. Like, I guess, what would you call it? Metric? Metric goes up in units of 10. You know what? Since I don't want to type, because we all know I can't type and talk at the same time, I'm just going to call it the metric system of counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I found out that that's not default, that's just something we were raised to learn. Like, other people count in other ways, like hexadecimal or binary or whatever 12 is. 12 is something, I can't remember what it is. But that's what really blew my mind, especially regarding computers. And all I know is that I will never, ever, ever know much about computers unless I get a college degree or something in it. Which I'm not gonna. Probably. I shouldn't say that. I don't know for sure. Look, I've read the entire book, Learning to Code from Coding Minecraft. So I think I know a thing or two about computers. But yet, like I say, took a C++ programming class. My teacher was weird as heck. To this day, I think about certain things he did, and I'm just like, why'd he do that? Like, so weird. I guess you don't become a computer teacher by being a totally normal person. I guess that's sort of par for the course. I was doing some programming, and I forgot almost all of it by now. I doubt I could do almost anything. Oh my gosh, it was difficult as hell. You lose one apostrophe or comma or semicolon, and it just doesn't work. I remember specifically staring at one program for 2 months, and it wasn't even a hard one. It was just like, sort of, not really like beginner, like, I'm not trying to say I'm an expert, but it wasn't exactly beginners or anything. It was like something you do when you basically get the hand of, like, the basics and stuff, like, floats and stuff. It's about the only thing I remember. A float is some sort of unit of memory. Then my teacher came over, he's like, did 2 things, typed in something on the keyboard twice and it worked, and I was like, why am I such an idiot about this, man? I don't know. I guess it's just the type of person, really. Like, you really gotta have a mindset for that sort of thing. I guess it's the same for almost any line of work, too, anyway. So I'm just cracking open one of these Tootsie Roll bad boys. That's the good stuff. I'll be honest with you, that one wasn't a Tootsie Roll, that one was a Fruity. I forgot I had those mixed in with that. They're like grape Tootsie Rolls, but they're not as nasty as you'd think. I wonder if they got any nutrition facts on them. It's literally the exact same. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have cocoa in it. That's the thing I was talking about earlier about artificial flavors and natural flavors. They could be the exact same for all I know. There's something in those flavors. I don't trust them. You can't sneak past me, FDA. Well, what blows me away is how much stronger computers are getting lately, too. I read some stuff on quantum computing, and talking about it almost feels like a crime because I know so little about it. Oh my gosh, it looks crazy. From what I understand, and I know this is wrong, so let's just prerequisite that. I don't want to say it's wrong. It's just sort of, it's more conjecture than it is facts, so let me just say that right now. But from what I understand, computers work on a binary system so that it is either yes or no, on or off, sort of. And quantum computing works in a way that it has 3 innate values, where it can measure this is probably wrong, but where it can measure a certain particle's rotation, position, and direction, which gives it, instead of on or off, it gives it 3 states that it could be in, which just exponentially increases and it makes it way smaller, and it makes it way faster, because the 3 different states mean you can have much more customization in any given switch. And I don't know, man. I think in the next 100 years, we're going to see some crazy stuff. I mean, I'm sure we all know the rate of technological increase from the 1800s has just pretty much gone vertical. I don't know. I feel like today we sort of assume that it's just sort of stopped to a certain degree. I don't know. Maybe we don't even think about it. Maybe it's just because we've always grown up in a vertical technological increase. It's just the way things are. But I think about the fact that most people would have grown up like their parents, and I just can't imagine growing up like my parents. I remember growing up where my parents didn't even have cell phones. And now, like all moms, my mom posts on Facebook all the time. Although, for some reason, Instagram and Snapchat are just beyond her. She just can't seem to wrap her mind around that. They always try to follow me on Instagram, too. I'm like, I'm not falling for that. That feeling when your dad tries to follow you on Snapchat, and you're like, I don't think so. Snapchat's my party account. Ain't no one getting on that bad boy. One thing I always wanted to know is whether the government could, tap into Snapchats the same way they tap into texts. I don't think they can, and I sure hope they can't. for personal reasons. It's just the type of thing I've always wondered about. I'm just playing. I never really did anything too bad, I don't think. I went a little wild with, smoking and a lot like that. I never really went too off the rails. I think it was very appropriate for the environment that I was in. I grew up in Virginia, and D.C. just recently legalized weed in a really weird way, and I moved to Colorado. Mom and my parents were like, I know why you're moving to Colorado. You want to smoke that reefer. They didn't say reefer because they're not 90, but they definitely had that in the back of their minds, and I was like, first of all, I could just go up north a little bit and get access to all that I would want, so I don't know what the big deal with that is. I mean, clearly I didn't move over here for the week. Clearly I didn't make the 3-day drive just to hit that reefer every once in a while, okay? It's not even my style. Ironically enough, I pretty much stopped smoking when I came over to Colorado. It was just now that I'm sort of doing my own thing, I got more important shit to do. Smoking always made me super lazy anyway. That's one thing I didn't really like. After a long day of work, it was nice to relax, but never really did anything. Never recorded any dank-ass podcast about JUULs and exercise and computers. Full Metal Alchemist and stuff like that. Oh wait, I haven't even talked about that yet. Well, spoiler alerts for the next 7 minutes then. My sister's a real weeb, real weeaboo, you know what I'm saying? Real anime-ophile. And I've watched Attack on Titan. I'm a cultured man, okay? I watch hentai, okay? I know my stuff. I never really watched too much anime because while I have 5 friends, I would lose them if I got into that lifestyle too much. Although I have always considered getting a waifu pillowcase, just sort of for a meme, sort of because I think it'd be really funny to just roll up to my family events with my waifu pillow. I do like having a family. I don't really want to get disowned. Although I feel like it would be a great prop in some of my brother's videos. Oh man, that's a Christmas idea right there. Let me write that down before I forget. But anyway, my sister, real weeaboo, always recommends animes to me. Normally I just say, yeah, I'll watch it, and then I don't watch it. Like a liar. She gave me Full Metal Alchemist on Blu-ray. And you know what I think it is? For me, DVDs are like vinyls, where it's there's something about having it and holding it and putting the disc in, and it just sort of accepts the disc, and it's like, yeah, this is my private property. I can do whatever I want with this, except upload it or pirate it or illegally give it away or sell it. What's that government agency called that monitors pirating? But anyway, my sister, dang it, I really can't talk in type, man. That is crazy. I almost typed in government agency, my sister. Why isn't it coming up automatically? I wish I knew how to spell pirating the first time. No way, the FBI regulates it. That can't be right. Okay, so the first results are for the FBI website, ICE, which does not make any sense to me, and then the Justice Department. Well, that's just nonsense. Maybe it is the FBI, freaking socialist FBI. I've always wanted to have my house broken into and get raided, so guess I can finally cross that off my bucket list. But anyway, my sister gave me Full Metal Alchemist on Blu-ray, and like I said, that feeling of having the disc slide into your DVD player ain't nothing like it. So I started watching it. It's pretty darn good. I heard Brotherhood was a lot better, but that's the second series, I guess. But I'm watching the first one first, and it's not bad. I'm less than halfway through with it. It's a lot longer than I thought it'd be. It's like 50 episodes or something like that. It's pretty darn good. One thing I don't like, though, is I feel like the lips don't sync up as much as they should. I understand that can't be an easy thing to do. And there's something really distinctive and weird about the Japanese culture where sometimes something will happen in an anime, and I'm just like, what the hell is that? What are they doing? This is just weird as heck, man. You can't treat a woman like that. This is public train, okay? I've played my fair share of hentai bondage games, but I even know you can't do that in a cartoon for kids. Then again, they never ask my opinion on it, so I try not to give it to them too much. It is a distinctive culture, though. We don't have adult cartoons like that. They're not hardcore like that, I don't think. I can't think of any really, nitty-gritty adult cartoons off the top of my head. Surely them, like American nitty-gritty cartoons, surely there must be a couple. Archer comes to mind, but that's not really nitty-gritty. It's funny. Well, I don't know, I say that. I haven't seen it recently. I think I watched up to season 5, and I remember I downloaded it on my computer and watched it in high school and felt like a lunatic. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm watching this adult show in school, I'm so edgy. Turns out no one cares, so that was pretty cool. Archer comes to mind. You know, everyone wants to say The Simpsons, but that's not really nitty-gritty. It was in the first couple seasons. But, you know, I'm not saying anything everyone else doesn't already know and think, so I'm not going to talk too much about my opinions on early Simpsons. Not that I even watched it before it came out on FXX. You know, there's no way to really watch the original episodes for a long time. At least not that I could find. I remember looking around and you had to buy them everywhere, and then I'm like, I don't think so. I'm not going to go spend my money on this product people made. What is that noise? You know, FXX did that 100 days of... Was it 100 days? It was a long time. It was like 3 months or something of just constant Simpsons. Surely it wasn't 3 months. Although there are a lot of episodes. Why can't I find it? This was such a... 13 days. Okay, so not 3 months. That was a misnomer. And I'm only pretty sure I'm using the word misnomer right, but I'm trying to use bigger words, so you'll have to forgive me. But yeah, it was 13 days. And I remember just watching that, and I would come home from school and just watch it for 6 hours and be like, why am I still watching this? I'm not even enjoying it anymore. Guess I'll just sit down until I have to go to school tomorrow. That was back in the day of 2 years ago, you know, back in the Wild West of FXX primetime television marketing. Man, it's been an hour already. It's easier to do a podcast than I thought. Once you start going, you really just do sort of keep going. There's a bunch of blind spots, but I guess I'll have to learn how to edit and incorporate that in here one way or another. I'll have to get a cool intro too. Something really shiny and sparkly with spinning letters. Ooh boy, it's about to be a good looking intro. And you get a more dynamic voice too. I feel like my voice is too cracky. This isn't even how I normally talk either, I don't think. I guess I don't really hear myself talk normally. The only time you really ever hear yourself talk normally is when you get that reverb in your cell phone when you're talking. Whoa, I sound weird. Maybe that's just me. People tell me I sound like I can't pronounce my R's and stuff, but I can't really hear it. Gotta get one of those real cool logos. Thing is, I don't want to pay for it though. So maybe I'll just distort a picture of my face. Smiling really, really wide. I have some good pictures. I have a picture of me somewhere. With me, like, with a blackened mile in my mouth and my ear. Boy, you know, that's about to be my cover photo. That's about to be some real good shit. I know I have it downloaded somewhere. I know where it is. It's in my old Snapchat photos when I went wild with a group a couple years ago. They're still wild. They don't really fuck with me anymore, and that's cool. Then again, they were, when I say they were wild, I mean they were very, very wild. Let me see if I can't find that picture. Shoot, man, I haven't even talked to them in so long. Oh, this is one of my old friends, so I'm just, like, going back. Oh, sweet, there's that picture. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's about to be the cover photo. I do look like I pissed myself, but we will make that work. I wish it wasn't a vertical, though. Oh, well. When you see... Why can't I just take a download picture? It's me. I should be able to download a picture of myself. Well, there's going to be 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, and there's just nothing I can do about it. Man, I don't want to edit. The only reason I don't want to edit is because I don't know how. This is probably going to end up really choppy or something, but what are you going to do? Got that dope picture of me. I need to figure out how to do some swirly letter action. I'll need to hear myself, see if I stay on topic. Alternated between JUULs and quantum computing a little bit too much. Probably need to narrow that in a little bit. I need to read more books too, man. Then again, this is a lot easier to do than reading books. Just talking into a microphone, that's easier to do than reading books. When you're tired, I should say. Like, I'm very, very tired right now. Hopefully that's why my voice sounds like I'm dying. And in the future it's going to sound better. I need to think of a sign-off or something. I'll just vape into the microphone. That'd be good. Signing off.